everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't subscribed already, please go ahead and do that, and let me get into this story time. So this story is going to be about my sister. I love her. She's amazing. She's my everything. She's my best friend. But there was a time in our life where I was just terrified of her, like legit terrified. And I'm not going to get too much into like her personal life or anything like that, because I know she wouldn't like that. But this is a time that when we were going through shit at the pool house, my sister became very depressed, and she pretty much just shut everybody out because of my parents' divorce. Even though nowadays she doesn't want to accept it, but that's what was going on. She was going through it, her little rebel stage and all that stuff. But I was scared of her because she was playing like Ouija boards and doing witchcraft and doing stuff like that. I mean, I'm a little bit into witchcraft. I used to be in it more, but now that I have kids, I just try not to do any of that stuff. But I used to be into witchcraft. Nothing like bad. It was always like love spells and stuff like that. Like all positive. And she was into witchcraft as too. I mean, I don't know what kind. I just know she did some witchcraft stuff. And she was playing the Ouija board, and she became very, very dark. Like if you always walked into what was like the master bedroom, like she had her side how she wanted it, and I had my side. My side always looked very like bright. Like there was like, it looked like sun was shining directly at my side. Her side, no matter how much fucking sunlight there was in the fucking room, like her side always looked so dark. Like it was scary. And like she was just creepy. Like this one night, we were staying at my aunt's house, my mom's sister's house in Fresno, and my grandma went to go pick us up. My sister was playing the Ouija board before my grandma got there, and she actually played this one on the computer. And I know people say like, oh, it's not true if it's on a computer, like you have to play with the board. No, like there's different ways you can play it, and and I'm not saying go play it, because I would never do that. That's scary. I don't mess with that. But she was playing on the computer, and she was so attached to it. My grandma had to go inside and literally like pry her off the computer because she just wouldn't want to let it go. Anyways, my sister got pried off the computer, and she was like, we had a van, and she would look like she wanted to murder me. Like her eyes didn't, like, I know my sister, how she looks at me and stuff. That stare, guys, was not my sister. Like she looked possessed. She looked scary. She looked like her eyes are like this light honey in the sun. Her eyes look pitch dark black. Like it was so scary. And it was like nighttime. It was like around 10. We were heading home, and I was in the back of the van. My grandma was in the front with her boyfriend. And she was just sitting there like staring at me like she wanted to kill me. Like she was like this. She was like this, guys. Like the whole time she was just staring at me, so scary. And I was like, dude, like stop staring at me like that. Like you're creeping me out. And she just wouldn't. Until my grandma, I told her to pull over. They pulled over, and my grandma went to the back seat and I went to the front. Because I did not want to sit next to my sister. I was like scared. I thought she was going to attack me. She was staring at like that at my grandma. And my sister loves my grandma. She would never try to do anything to hurt her. She loves her like a lot. So the fact that she was staring at my grandma the same way, we knew like that wasn't my sister. Like I thought she was possessed. I'm like, this is not my sister. This is not right. Like the way she looks is just not okay. But anyways, my grandma was back there like praying on her. She always carried like these little bottles of like holy water in her purse. So she was like praying on her, like doing stuff to her. My sister didn't give a fuck. She was just staring at her like she wanted to kill her. So anyways, that was like it was like 35 minutes home. And we get home, and I'm just like telling my grandma, I'm like, I don't want to sleep with her. It's scary. Like she looks crazy. And she's like, well, just go to bed, ignore it. Like I already prayed for her. She'll be fine. Okay, so I go, I think it was like, at that point it was like 12. We go to sleep, and every time something happens around 2:33 in that house, like maybe that's the time like that the lady died or the guy died, but at 2:33 something always happens, like 2:33 a.m. So when I woke up and I opened my phone, it was like right under my pillow, and I opened my phone because I sensed something like staring at me, and I opened my phone and I see it's 2:33. I was like, okay, this isn't, like, what the fuck. And I felt like this heavy gaze, just like something just behind me, and I was giving my back to my sister and I was facing the wall. So then I'm just like, okay, maybe it's my sister just staring at me, like, I don't know. So I like get up and I look towards her side of the room, and I see what looks like the fucking Grudge sitting in the middle of her bed. And I thought, obviously, it's my sister just not wanting to sleep and just trying to be creepy as fuck, because she would like to scare me at that point when she was not in her, like, she's going through her rebel stage. She didn't give a fuck. And she was, like, sitting in the middle of her bed, and it looked like, because my sister had really dark hair and long hair. So her hair was, like, down like this. I just knew it looked like that. Oh! Okay, so where was I? Okay, so I saw what looked like the Grudge sitting on the bed, and I was like, I obviously thought it was my sister, like, who else can it be? I was like, let's call her Dina. I was like, Dina, go to sleep. She didn't answer, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, you're being creepy. Like, go to sleep. Like, seriously, like, stop. And I just turned my back. Okay, I didn't feel nothing for like 5 minutes. It was fine, whatever. Obviously, I didn't hear no movement. I didn't hear her like say anything. It was just like, you know. And I kept feeling like that gaze, like just like strong energy, just like, I don't know. So then I get up again, and I'm just like, she's still sitting there, in the middle of the fucking bed, and I'm like, what the fuck, Dina? Like, seriously, go to sleep. You're scaring the shit out of me. I didn't see her move. I didn't see her budge. She was just still sitting there. So, like, I got up and, like, turned on the light. When I turned on the light, guys, my sister was, like, under the cupboards, like, asleep. Like, and I know I saw a person sitting in the middle of the bed. And obviously, like, since I turned on the light, she's like this covered. She's like, what the hell? She goes, go to sleep. She goes, turn off the lights. I'm trying to sleep. Like, you can see, like, the lights bothering her. And I'm like, dude, you're just sitting in the middle of your fucking bed staring at me. Like, that's not cool. And she's just like, what the hell? Like, I was not doing that. And, like, till this day, my sister tells me, like, I don't remember, like, sitting in the middle of the bed, like, staring at you. She would even say, like, sometimes she felt like her bed would levitate and, like, kind of just drop. And then she would hear, like someone call her name. Like, I'm not going to say her name, but I'm going to call her Dina. They would be like, Dina, Dina, Dina. Like, over and over, like, on her ear. And she would just ignore it because she just didn't want to turn around. And she was just like, oh, like, that shit like that would happen to her. But, I mean, she was going through a rough stage, so I could assume this is why that shit was, like, following her a little bit. And yeah, this is why I was scared, like, for a while to sleep with my sister, because I was like, this bitch is crazy. Like, shit gets on her and sits on her. Like, I know I ain't seeing stuff, like. And she told me also, and, like, every time she tells me this story, she cries because she didn't like the feeling of this. And I know I said, like, my sister's a strong person, but this is the one thing that she was terrified of, like, the devil. Like, she said every single night that we were living in that house, like, even if I think we're living there for like 2 years or more, I'm not sure, but, like, she said that ever since we first stepped foot in that house, every single time, every single night, she would dream that the devil was taking her. Like, he was trying to get her. She would run and he would try to get her. And, like she said, every time she would wake up, like she didn't like it, obviously, like what she was dreaming. But every time she would go back to sleep, like she would like start off where she left off in the dream. Like it was the same thing all the time, every single day for like 2 years straight. And like she cries when she tells me this, and I felt bad, and I would cry with her because I'm just like, I didn't know you were going through that, you know? She's like, I don't want to tell you, I don't want to scare you. And I was just like, well, bitch, like you were playing the Ouija board. How do you think like you're gonna be dreaming with Jesus? Like, no, like you need Jesus in your life, you know? But yeah, my sister, this is why I was like scared of her for a while. Oh, let me just tell you, and since we were having so much bad stuff going on in the house, like a lot of other stuff, I'm pretty sure there's like a bunch of other stories that maybe my stepmom hasn't told me or my grandma. But my grandma got a priest and like a bunch of people from the church to come over to the house and to like bless the house, and it did like the thing where they put their hand on your head and they pray for you and all that stuff. Like my dad, I mean, I'm not gonna say he's not religious, but like I mean he believes in like the Virgin Mary and like Jesus and God and all that. But he's not the type of guy that goes to church or anything like that. I don't think he prays. He maybe does like in his head, but I never seen him or pray at all. So when they came over to the house, they went to my dad and did that. Guys, when I say this, like my dad has never shown emotion ever in my life. I saw him drop to his knees and cry and shake. He was like doing this. It was so scary, and I was just like crying because I never seen him do that. And I'm like, my dad must be going through shit and he's not telling us, you know, obviously because he didn't want to tell us. And you know they did that to everybody in the house, and you know everybody reacted differently. To me it was just more like, oh, like to me it was just like they were just praying to me, you know. My sister during this time was in her room, and my grandma went to go get her because she didn't want to be there. And they sat her on the couch. She was very stubborn. She didn't like this is like a couple of days after that experience that I had with her, like sitting on the bed. Like she was like sitting on the couch when they brought her. She looked mad. She was just like this. And then she was like smirking at the priest and like laughing at him, like laughing and saying, "You're fucking stupid." Like, and even now I tell her and she's like, "I don't remember doing that. I didn't say that." I'm like, "Yes, you did. We all heard you say you're fucking stupid to the priest." And then he would try to like do that to you, and you like would just be like, "Huh," like you think that's gonna work. And like you walk to your room and close the door like all mad. Like my sister wouldn't be disrespectful to a priest like that. Like I know my sister. I mean, she's not like religious either. Like she's like my dad. I'm the same way. We don't go to church. I mean, you know, I'm not that. It's not something that I'm proud of, but I'm just saying like yeah, this is what happened. And like I said, like after we moved out of that house, my sister changed completely. Like she wasn't in the dark anymore. She looked better. She started laughing a little bit more, and you know, like getting to be herself again. But yes, this is the story of my sister, of why I was so scared of her. So if you really like this story and you want to continue hearing more, please give it a thumbs up, share the video, subscribe to my channel, leave some comments down below if you want to hear about anything else. Thank you. Have a good day. I'm taking out the truth. I said to the L.